was heading back towards my village after a successful hunt when I first heard the screams. I remember running as fast as I could and still feeling like I was so far away. I stopped only for a moment when I broke through the tree line. I saw the burning homes, the lifeless villagers on the ground, and the blood. So much blood. My eyes filled with rageful tears, but I held them back. I focused on those who were still alive. My people, rounded up on their knees, shaking, crying, screaming. And the three warmonger conquistadors that stood tall in front of them, laughing, pointing at their next victim. A child. A conquistador grabbed the boy by the neck. They never heard me coming. It was quick, but they felt death before it took them. Covered in the blood of my victims, my attention turned to the horizon, to Tenochtitlan, our great city, our living heart. The pillars of black smoke in the distance made me realize the worst. They had come for everything we had. I was too late to stop them then, but I am here now, among them. They think me trapped, caged, but they have no idea what is coming. We will have our revenge. Shiwala Ki. Shiwala Ki. Shiwala Ki. Let the hunt begin.
Welcome back, Warriors. It's Warriors Den time. I hope everybody's hyped because today we're talking about the new hero, the Ocelotl.
The Ocelotl, yes.
Yeah. But before we get into all of the nitty-gritty on the new hero coming out July 27th, I believe we have stuff dropping.
Yeah, we got some stuff dropping.
We do.
And we can tell you all about that right now in this camera. So this is great. You all know how this works by now. Okay, we want to get to talking about this new hero because we are super excited about that. But we want you to also benefit as much as possible from enjoying the stream with us. So I hope you linked your Ubisoft account to your Twitch account while you're watching us, because for every 30 minutes you watch with us, you are going to get a scavenger crate. And also at the end of the stream, you're going to be put into a chance to win a grand grand prize kind of thing of either 100,000 steel or the new hero. And again, like, I know we kind of say this every time, but like, you really want this one because it's amazing. It's so good. It's so good. So yeah, so we have a lot of more going on with Twitch as well. So not only can you just watch and get that, but we are going to be running a bit of a top 10 streamers next week on July 27th. So for the week of the release of the new hero, if you're out there, you're streaming on Twitch and you rack up your hours, we're going to take the top 10 of you and grant you 100,000 steals. So there you go. There's your motivation right there. Get on Twitch, stream it.
We will be vetting to make sure there's no shenanigans. No shenanigans.
Yeah, we don't account, or we don't account for. We don't agree or
we do not suffer fools.
We suffer no fools here, as that's very true here. So so no fools will be suffered, but the top 10 legitimate streamers.
Chat sweating like, am I the fool?
No, if you have to ask, then that's probably the problem. But yeah, so. But if you're not into streaming too, we've got you covered as well. Just by watching the people stream starting next week as well, you can also win some fabulous prizes here. So you watch an hour, you get XP boost. You watch, 4 hours, you get more XP. You get scavenger crates. You get champion status steel.
I think it's like a total of 10K steel.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. And all you have to do is watch. So, honestly, starting next week, we got you covered. Whether you're watching, whether you're streaming, whether you're playing, we're going to have a great time. So keep an eye out for that next week.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, what?
We've got a free week coming to For Honor. So chance for you to get all your friends in the game, be like, play this game. It's amazing.
It is.
It's a funny sword game. I think we're at like peak funny sword game right now.
We're at peak funny sword?
Yeah, the game's super healthy. Get your friends on board because we've got more to help them out. And if you're like, well, I've already tried to get all my friends into the game. They all tried, and now they don't play anymore. We've got something for that, too.
That's right. We're prepared for any type of situation that could come up here. That's why we have a reactivation program that's also starting next week from July 27th and running all the way through September 14th. So you may be asking, what is a reactivation program? I know I was asking that earlier, but it's a great system here where basically if you are playing the game, you're an active player playing at least within the last year, you can kind of send a little re-invite, not for new players, but maybe people who've dropped off, and you say, hey, guess what? We have a new amazing hero that's launching. The game is at its peak it's ever been. It's so much fun. We got all these things. So just come back and play. Just jump back in.
It's going to be contentious in chat.
I'm fine with that. I will,
and I'm okay with it, too.
I will deal with the contention on this. All right, I'm still having a blast with it. But anyway, you bring them
Facts
back.
are facts.
And guess what? If you get people coming back through the reactivation program here, you're going to win some fabulous, awesome prizes, too. You'll get some XP boosts, scavenger crates, an exclusive elite outfit. If you bring one person back, 2 friends you bring back, you're going to get more crates, a new effect, and 3 or more friends, guess what? You're going to get some awesome champion status, some steel, and the people you bring back, they benefit as well. They get champion status, they get some steel, so it's a great way to bring some people back who've maybe dropped off over the past, like a year or so ago, but those people who maybe got the game right at the beginning. We're like, I love the campaign, but what's up, multiplayer? And you're like, hey, that's all fixed. It's amazing now. I know, there's still people.
It's mostly fixed.
There's still people like, let's fix that.
Yeah.
That's still funny. They're just like, oh yeah, I played when it came out, but haven't come back. You're like, no, come back.
I got a deal for you.
Yeah, we've got it.
But yeah, great chance to earn some steel. Get your friends back in. It's like, hey, just like come play the new Ocelotl hero. So, but before we get into the new Ocelotl hero, I think we're gonna. Oh no, I gotta recap what's coming up in TU.
We got more than that too.
I got ahead of myself.
And that's the headliner. There.
Yeah, I do that all the time. It's okay. So let's take a quick look at what happened last TU and what's coming up this TU. There's last TU. Here's this TU. We got new hero, event pass, armor variations, performance mode, console players hype, and Shadows of the Hitakiri throwback event, which was actually like the first event. The first time I helped out on For Honor, like officially, was when that event launched.
It's great.
And then we got 3 more Hero Fests coming at you. We'll talk about which heroes will be included in that a little later in the show.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good.
Might be a little stabby.
No,
a little stabby hero.
Well, I mean,
in there.
You got a pretty good odds of it being a stabby at some point, just because of all the funny swords we have. But
oh yeah,
But Brian, did my ears deceive me? Did you mention a performance mode?
I did. And so before we jump into all the details about the Ocelot, we're going to talk about the console performance mode coming up. So we'll be right back with Gabrielle to talk about that. So don't go anywhere.
Yep, stick around.
Welcome back, Warriors, and welcome, Gabrielle. I believe this is your first time on the Den, is it not?
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, so before we get into the console performance mode, why don't you quickly tell everyone at home what it is that you do for Honor?
I'm the programming team lead of the content programmer, so all engine, UI, gameplay.
So all that nitty gritty, like getting your hands dirty.
Exactly.
I like it. I like it. So we've got a console performance mode coming to you. A couple of notes before we jump into the specifics. This will be a new option in the UI. So for those of you who are like, I like my For Honor how it is. I don't want any changes, okay? That's fine. You can just leave it on quality mode, which is where it'll be by default, which is the For Honor you've known and loved for these 7 years. That's nuts. But for those of you who are like, I want more frames. I want more frames in my For Honor. We're going to have a performance mode option you can select. There will be some trade-offs. So you'll be trading a little bit of graphic fidelity for more frames. But this will enable some of you to finally light parry. So, but this is great because it's a feature that the community has asked for literal years now, and I'm just excited that we're able to bring it. So why don't we jump into some of the specifics, and you can walk us through it.
Yeah. So like you mentioned, there are some trade-offs. I'm going to start with those. So we reduce the resolution to 1080p. So some at 4K now is 1080p. We reduce some graphic upgrades, some console graphic upgrade. Reduce that also to get the best performance. There's some possibility to have screen tearing, but if you have some hardware that supports VR, variable refresh rate, you can mitigate that.
And that's because we got rid of the VSync. Right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, there's if you have a 120 hertz monitor or TV, this will get even better with performance mode.
All right, and for those of you who are like, well, what specifics are there? What technical requirements do I need? What hardware requirements? Because I know like you have to have certain HDMI cables, stuff like that. We've got a blog post that's going to be coming, so you'll be able to go on the For Honor News section, forhonorgame.com, and that article will be live right after the show. So you can go in, you can see everything you need to do to make sure that you get the best experience with performance mode. And it should answer any questions in there, like what to do if you get screen tearing. Like Gabrielle said, you can enable variable refresh rate, active sync, whatever your display calls it.
Yeah.
And take us through what kind of performance thresholds are we looking at?
Yeah, so basically the core of the performance mode is we unlock the FPS, unlock the frame rate, so to get the best of all the console. So we have a little table here with some of the range. We can get like on old gen, we can get around 40 FPS, on mid gen around 60, and then on current gen is up to 120. So it's a lot better than the 60 we had before.
Nice. And a quick note on that, obviously that's dependent on what's kind of happening in the game, everything going on.
Your network connection also.
So, this is like, should be what you can expect average is in that threshold, might go plus or minus some.
Exactly.
Because if you're on docks, like looking across everything and everything's blowing up, you're blowing up,
A lot of things are
then
happening.
you might see it dip like a few frames below our target, but otherwise it should be pretty.
Yeah.
So, anything else on before we get into the Ocelotl?
No, that's pretty much it. Like you mentioned, check the article. Everything is in there. It's super important to get the best out of performance mode. So that's a look at it. And just a huge thanks to the engine team that work on this. They did an amazing job, and it's super awesome.
Yeah, it's always nice when a section of the team takes something on as a challenge.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we can't do this. Yeah, bet.
Yeah.
And then they're
Try
just
it.
like, poof, and get it done. So thank you, Gabrielle, for joining us
Yeah.
for the first time on the Den House.
Thanks for
And-
having me.
Yeah. And we'll be right back with all the intro to the Ocelotl. And so we have an awesome trailer for you. So if you've been wanting to see gameplay, we've got a gameplay trailer. Put on your brown pants, and here you go.
Do you know what it is to mourn an empire? To see your home defiled. You tried to take everything from us. Yet here we stand. A blood debt will be paid. You will have no victory. The Ocelotl will hunt you across oceans, across the underworld. You will know our pain, but you'll never hear us coming. All you will hear is your own scream.
Welcome back once again. I am joined on the couch today by Mr. Stefan, Mr. Ian, and oh no, Raphael.
Why? Oh no! I thought you were happy to see me.
The wrong name popped into my head, and I was like, "Nope, we're not doing that." So, welcome, Raphael. I believe this is your first time on the Den,
It is indeed. I'm really happy to be here.
and I am too. Sorry about the failed intro.
No problem.
So, yeah, so available on July 27th, and then will be the new Ocelotl hero, and then 2 weeks, that'll be for Cold Hard Cash, and then 2 weeks later, available for Steel, the Riddle of Steel. But we've got a lot of details to get through with regard to all the things for the hero. So why don't we jump into that with you, Stefan? Why don't you give us a quick rundown?
I would love to. Super hyped to talk about the Ocelotl. It's a new Outlander, bringing a new hero to the battle finally. Outlander, what I love about them is they bring two new things to the battlefield every time. First is a new culture. We've started to see that at the start of the season, and I think Ian will talk more about that and others throughout the show. So I won't spend too much time on that. But Aztec for the first time, yes, awesome. And then second thing that the Outlanders bring is a new gameplay aspect. And we're going to see that later in the show. Yes, exactly. More detailed explanation. But at the high level, this character is very precise, calculating, tactical hunter. And you're going to see that reflected in
the sneaky stocky.
Maybe a little bit. You're going to see it reflected both in the fight kit with the ability to kind of move around the fight a little bit and jump in, pounce, gank as you want.
Surprise.
And then you'll see the stalking hunter aspect also shown through the feat kit. And you will always be stalked by them. You're going to feel like there's eyes everywhere.
Yeah, even through death.
Even through death.
Yes.
What do you mean with that?
I don't know.
You'll see later, but there's no limit to you will never feel safe on the battlefield, which I think is going to be great. And I also feel there's going to be a bit of a meta shift for all the times where you're like, well, I'm in a one-on-one that I'm winning. Everything's going to go my way. Maybe you won't be. Maybe you're going to be just chilling on your home point. Maybe that's not going to go super well. And maybe you're going to turn out to be the weak, wounded gazelle running away. And it's going to be like...
That's where the surprise comes in.
Exactly.
I mean, the unofficial tagline is basically be afraid, right?
Yeah.
Be afraid. Fear him.
And I'm looking forward to hearing just everything we have to divulge today on the hero. Raphael's going to be giving us a historical perspective, but first, Ian, can you walk us through the narrative?
Let's talk narrative.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I want all the story, all the lore.
Let's talk about, in TU1 we had the conquistadors. They returned to Heathmore. After visiting the New World. Now we can say Aztec.
We say Aztec.
Yeah, let's
say
say
Aztec as much as we want.
No more secrets, finally. So they returned after plundering the empire. They brought back all this gold. They had this big party. They told tales of their grand achievements. But hey, here's a spoiler. They lied. They made shit up. Everything they did was horrible, actually. And they said they brought back this lone prisoner, this final survivor of the Aztec Empire, but it's not true.
Colonizers lie? Never.
No, it's unheard of. This our main Aztec hero, the Ocelotl, our main caged prisoner, he willingly gave himself up. He surrendered knowingly so that the rest of his people would be kept safe, while the others okay, we got
just
the last Aztec.
I'm the last one, promise.
Exactly.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, yeah, he totally played.
There's definitely not more people behind me.
No, he played a Joker card and said "Take me in," So now he's just lying in wait. We know the execution's coming at sunup, but actually, what he knows is that his people followed him. They followed him back to Heathmore. They're coming, and they're here to exact brutal vengeance.
I think that's the name of the season.
That is the name of the season.
Oh,
what?
We said the thing.
That's a lot of confidence, simply putting your life into the hands of your friends. And, they'll be there on time.
I mean, it's the Ocelotl.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
It's cool like that.
And I think there's a lot of that narrative that's been baked into the map realization as well. So what are some things that players can look for?
Absolutely. While you're playing, keep an eye out. We have a lot of dead conquistadors. It's some gruesome, some, not to say not gruesome, but also slightly
Quite
comical.
Creative.
Let's say that. You might.
Pretty sure I saw someone inside a snake.
There is a snake. There's a guy leaking from the chain right there.
You probably shouldn't be leaking. That's not a good thing.
Don't leak at Ubisoft. Yes.
Yeah.
There's plenty more. Just keep an eye out because we're telling the story of the Ocelotl who arrived in Heathmore, and they're leaving no stones unturned.
As well they should.
Yeah.
So I am super excited for all that is coming out this season. I'm looking forward to the lore orders. There's going to be some fun stuff in there, I know. But Raphael,
hey,
let's talk a little bit about the historical perspective that went into bringing this hero into Heathmore. And
I guess first we could discuss the fact that there is a historian working on this game. Samurai and Viking game. What is that? I guess it's unexpected, but the fact is, For Honor is inspired by history in pretty much all of its aspects. How our heroes look, how they sound, how they fight, why they fight. It's not that we are an historical game. We don't try to be historical. We don't try to teach you anything, but we want to make a game that's fun. Okay, well, first, and then a world that's coherent, that will take the players in. And we've believed for a long time, and we still believe, that history is a good starting point to provide all of this. So my job is to provide inspiration to help the team. It's a basis, you know. We will go away from it at some point, but at the start, it's like that, and then we go as we want.
Authentic versus accurate.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, and a good example of that is, the Aztecs in history, they weren't known as sailors, and but in our version of history, or what we're saying, like I said, they followed their leader home, because in our version, after the cataclysm, they traded with pirates. The Aztec picked up on they picked up on some sailing, so that's why they were able to get to Heathmore.
Just like, hey Jack, I've got this gold. You want to teach me how to build a ship?
Or feathers, or anything else that the Aztecs would have.
But it comes back to the believability aspect. This is one of our core pillars on For Honor. We want, to be divergent in terms of history, but we want you to be immersed and feel the same feel as like the knight that would hold a sword. You want the sword to be recognizable, feel the same way, your opponents to look the same way. And now with the Aztec, the war club and the spear, to give that authentic feeling, believable
Come
feeling.
back to that like key moment of like feel every blow, every block, like all that. Awesome. So any last notes before we?
I really would like to give a big shout out to the narrative team and the audio team, because we did something really special with this hero. We made him talk and speak in Nahuatl, and this is not something that's used, that's really seen often in video games. So you may have seen that none of us speaks fluently in Nahuatl right now. So we had to go and work with a real actor, an actor that's called Rufino Romero. You see him right there. And he actually speaks Nahuatl, modern Nahuatl, which is different from the classical Nahuatl that the Aztecs or Mexicas would have been talking. We had, after that, to go to external experts that helped us to translate the line from Ian or the rest of the narrative team. It was not an easy process, because sometimes the lines would be too long when you translated them, so we had to go back. But in the end, it works, and I'm really, really proud that we made that effort. It's one of the big aspects that you'll be enjoying in the game, I guess, and that will bring you once again into the world of For Honor.
And I love Rufino's work. He just
Great guy.
Yeah,
He's
just
awesome.
so humble, and just a really great,
Dedicated,
great human.
it
Nailed
was
it.
great.
I mean,
Yeah.
he is the Ocelotl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shewala. Yeah. All right. So for those of you at home, thank you, Stefan, Ian, and Raphael.
Always a
for
pleasure.
joining me. But we've got more with the artistic direction. But first, quick mention: we will have an event pass for the Ocelotl. That'll start July 27th and go through August 17th. So some of the things you can earn here: we've got the Tenochtitlan outfit coming at you, as well as we've got the Light of Tenochtitlan ornament, and right. We've got the path effect. So you can look for those and many other things in the event pass. And thank you again, all three of you, for joining me on this segment.
Always. See you on the battlefield.
Yeah. On the
Thanks,
battlefield.
thanks for having me on your couch and for getting my name.
Yeah,
It's, usual experience, I guess.
I'm not gonna never live that down. That's gonna be awesome for me. But yeah, we'll be right
We do know
back.
that historians typically forget all about history.
Yeah, they never remember everything.
No.
But yeah, stick around, because we've got artistic direction coming up next. Welcome back. It's artistic direction time, and we've got some more firsts today. Joining us again for the first time on the Den is Alex and Kiara. How are you both doing today?
Fantastic. Really excited.
So before we jump into the artistic direction behind the Ocelotl, why don't you both tell us a little bit about what it is that you do here?
Yes, so I'm Alex. I'm the production manager on the character team, which is the ridiculously talented team that makes all of the new heroes, armor sets, and hero skins. I also coordinate with our team in Chengdu that makes all of the weapons, all of the outfits, ornaments, mood effects, and armor variations.
Hi, and I'm Kiara. I do texture art. I also coordinate a little bit with Chengdu for validation and other fun stuff.
So all the materials, you know, a lot
Yes.
about rocks.
Especially this season.
Awesome. So why don't we just jump right into kind of the high level stuff?
Yes. So for the Ocelotl, we really tried to make a respectful adaptation into our game. Like Raphael was mentioning, we had a lot of collaboration with historians trying to work that in a little bit. So for our first set, we really went for the Jaguar Warrior, that classic look. Yeah. Yeah, well, and the word Ocelotl is what the Jaguar Warrior class would have been called in Nahuatl.
And so we've got some gorgeous concept art up here, and I know that you guys traditionally start with like the 2D.
Yes.
And then kind of and then build that up to a 3D.
Yeah, exactly. So we have all these lovely references from our historians. How do we go and adapt that? How do we translate that into 3D? So we'll take a lot of these images and put them together into the concept, and then we have this meeting where everyone who's going to work on the set will get together to actually talk about how we create it. So we'll have the concept artist, the modeler who'll work on it, the texture artist who'll work on it, the rigger who'll work on it, along with artistic and technical direction, just to figure out how to do that. So that's where we come up with a lot of questions like, how does this leg piece work? How does it fit around? How does it buckle up? Where's the buckle?
Right, because when you draw it in 2D, you can just put something somewhere and you don't have to worry about the function.
Exactly.
Like how it actually attaches. So.
Exactly. Whereas as this, we're really trying to make sure that it would work as functional armor.
And so I didn't skip over anything, did I?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So I think in addition to this, like we can see that Ocelotl has like a lot of, there's a lot of different textures going on here, a lot of different materials. And Kiara, I think you have a lot to do with that, right? Oh, sorry, guys. Did I skip?
I do. But
Yes, we were going to talk a little bit about like, what the accessories were on the sets.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I can't forget that.
Yeah, exactly. So set one, the Jaguar is one of them. We also have an eagle and a snake. And so in this one, yes.
We're going to have a snake set. Nice.
Yeah. So the materials was an important choice that we had for this. So we don't have a lot of metal. Instead, what we have is obsidian and turquoise, and we have some beads that were made from nuts. And so what the set has there is that the animal sort of helmet, and then at his waist, he'll have an obsidian knife and his death whistle.
Death whistle, we've got right here. It is ridiculously loud.
It is.
I wish I could blow it on the show, but all of you guys would go deaf like at home.
Yeah.
I think we've got the Jaguar set. We mentioned Snick. There's also some ceremonial.
We also have a set 2. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and in the set 2, this one is based on warrior priests who would also accompany the Aztecs into battle. So this one has a bunch of ceremonial masks. The themes of them are human, demon, and death. Death one is
the death
pretty
one
fantastic.
is sick.
It also has a cape, which would have been a mark of distinction earned in battle, much like the pelt of the first set as well, which would be earned for taking prisoners.
Nice. So all of you cape fans at home, we got capes.
We got capes.
Ocelotl has capes.
Yeah.
So now we're safe. To
Now
talk
we're
about
safe. We can talk
materials,
about
right?
materials.
I'm on fire today. So Kiara,
Yes.
talk to us about the materials because I see we don't just have these like flat 2D feathers going on.
Oh
We've got-
no, yeah, we've got a lot of fun stuff. The materials this time, the big challenge is that all the materials used for Ocelotl is raw materials compared to the Conquistador, which really had transformed materials like metal. You know, the minerals found were hammered into this beautiful ornate armor, but in this case, it's just fur. It's rocks. It's turquoise that they polished, stick a little hole, put it around your belt, call it a day. You can see that the materials are really raw. They're from nature. They're just purely also respected like that because that was part of the culture.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of work on the turquoise, on the golds, on the metals, on the obsidian, which is a really fun thing to work with. You'll see that there's variety in it too. Like it's not just a turquoise bead that you see every color is the same. There's depth in the blues, depth in the golds. The woods, they're more of a reddish tint because the nature over there in the Southern Americas, wood is more reddish compared to here, which are more on the grayish, brownish tints. And the feathers, which we really,
I'm
really,
excited about
oh,
That's beautiful.
the feathers are beautiful. So they're from South America, right? So all the birds are crazy colors and funky patterns. And we really wanted to keep that, but give the players the opportunity to actually put variety and use your color scheme and your team color to modify the
Telling me
feathers.
I can adjust with my color palette.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And there is variety in the feathers. It's going to be a lot of fun, especially that since they're tropical, the feathers have these little metallic hues to it. The colors shift a little bit when you put them in the light, and it's amazing. It got me really excited.
Yeah, I can't wait to spend some time in the customization menu.
Yeah.
It's probably where like 60% of my For Honor game time is, if we're being honest.
Yeah,
So,
it was absolutely most of our time spent thinking about that too, and thinking about you guys at home. That and another very important part is that, again, the authenticity, the respect to nature. Aztec, the way they used paint isn't like how the Asian cultures or European cultures did, which is very
like highly processed,
thinned out, exactly, chips off the armor and all that. Here it's more dirt, it's thicker. You can actually see the marks done on the characters as if the warrior priest would go on the Ocelotl and put it
so
in
you can see
stuff.
like the finger tracks.
Yeah, the finger
and stuff.
tracks.
Yeah.
We thought of everything here.
Nice.
So
Nice. So a little thicker, a little more goop.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Highly pigmented.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. And it's not just the armors for the new hero. We've also got we've got a new set for Shinobi coming out as well. So we've got set. We gotta give Max a second because we gotta let this video finish. But we're gonna show you the new set for Shinobi here in just a sec.
Want to talk about the gold medals on the weapons?
Oh yeah, the gold
yeah.
variety again, not just
Yeah.
flat simple gold. There's rose gold. There's the hammering in the gold, and you can see the shaping of the obsidian on the weapons. We put a lot of thought and passion in our textures. So
And it shows.
yeah.
Yeah.
It shows. There's one of the weapon sets got a lot of orange in it. I think
Oh.
that's going to be the one I'll grind for. But yeah, I mentioned the new Shinobi set. So let's take a look at set 5. Flippy Boy's getting his squinch on with this new mask. So this is, as we announced previously in the year, the new set for Shinobi coming out. So for everyone's favorite ninja, you can get your new fashion on. It's like a, what do they call it? The little turtle guys in the water, kappas.
Kappa.
Yeah, it's got some kappa vibe to it there. And that's not all. We've got more armor variations coming for the Viking, the Wulin, and the Outlanders. So as we announced earlier this year, we've got new armor variations coming every season for different factions. So you can see them at the bottom here. So in October, we've got Knights and Samurai coming, and then we've got another Viking, Wulin, and Outlander coming in February. So
Yes, these were all worked on by the Chengdu team. So shout out to Chengdu. Thanks for all your hard work.
Yeah, they do such a great
you.
job, and I know they work with us very closely so that we can get it just right. So
They're really great.
yes, and so thank you so much for joining me on the Den. Hope you guys enjoyed your first time.
Yes.
Can't wait to have you guys back. And you guys at home, stick around because we're going to be talking gameplay. So for those of you who are like, show me the gameplay, your time is coming. So thank you once again.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for having us.
we've got, I think we've got, time. We've got an armor variation video. That's right. And then we'll be back with the gameplay.
Welcome back, Warriors! We're so excited to have you with us for this next segment here. You learned a ton about the Ocelotl from their background, their history, their art direction, but now it's time to get into the nitty-gritty with the gameplay. And who better to do that than the person joining me on the couch today, our Lord and Savior, JC. Welcome back to the show, JC.
Hello. I'm really happy to be here. I was reading the Twitch chat before.
Yeah.
And I'm finally here. I know people were calling out for me. I'm finally.
They were worried. They were like
ritual and everything.
I did, yeah. Yeah, just so you know, that works in the office too. If you mention JC a couple times, he'll just show up at your desk and it works great. So good job, chat. We saw you out there. But also joining us today on the couch for the very first time, we have Daniel and Jimmy, who are from the animation team, here to talk about all the animation stuff. You all want to say hi to the chat, to the lovely people at home?
Yeah, hello. I'm super happy to be here with all of you. Warriors 10 is my first one. And yeah, I hope you will like the animation for this hero.
Yeah, and hello. Nowadays they call me the cooler Daniel.
Oh.
Usually I go by the name Jimmy. So nice to meet you all. First Warriors Den as well. Very happy to be here.
I love it. Awesome. So that's great. And I also see that YouTube maybe brought a little something.
Yes,
to
right.
show off
Not a
the-
gift,
yeah.
but
We got
not a
our we got our mocap weapons ready to fight it off in the studio. But no,
yeah,
not really.
no. Only one animator. So
You gotta hold it up for the camera. So
Yeah,
right,
hold it
yeah,
up for the
like,
camera.
you gotta see. There you go. Yeah. So this is always fun because again, Daniel, Jimmy, two of the lead animators working on the Ocelotl, and they, these are the actual mocap props, right?
Yeah.
We use
right.
in the studio for these. These things are huge, so you get a really good sense of scale. Do you want to maybe tell us a bit what it was like working with these?
well, what I can say is the first day, even not the first day of the mocap shoot, during the rehearsal, just we broke it.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
the actor just broke it, and then we had to say, oh my god, what we are doing. So we had to come up with a solution for it. And then it was a little fun fact about
We made it work. We made it
We
work.
made it work,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
was-
think you can see it there.
Was the solution more duct tape?
Always.
Now you can see it everywhere.
Always
Like
more
that's
tape.
the best solution ever.
Always more
So,
tape,
yeah.
it'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. All right. Well, I think that's great. So yeah, thank you for showing that off. I always think it's really cool to get a little, to see some of that behind the scenes stuff of, that. So thanks for bringing those cool props
For
on.
sure.
But I think now we're going to get a chance to maybe pass it over to JC and take a
Yeah.
look at the character in game as well. So
Yes. Well, first we'll talk a little bit about what kind of our pillars were for this hero and
of
stuff,
course,
right? So
of course.
when as most of you have watched Warriors and before and kind of heard me talk about these things, whenever we design a hero, we're trying to go with what our pillars are going to be gameplay wise, right? And so this being like a hunter, a stalker, like character that kind of does that, but also somebody that we find is like very aggressive and efficient, right? So once you get in, you're efficient, you're aggressive. That's kind of like what we were going for. So that's kind of, we'll see that reflected in the gameplay. So it's kind of interesting.
Nice.
But at the same time, what we want to make sure is that like sometimes we make heroes, we don't want to do something that's completely 100% different from everything because then it makes it too difficult to kind of understand, right? So if we kind of can compare to the heroes slow a little bit to other heroes, this hero, as you will see, has an infinite chain.
Ooh,
And it's kind of like what we did with Shaolin, where you have to alternate, buttons, but a little bit cranked up.
Just to the end.
Just a little bit cranked up. That's gonna be it's gonna be really interesting, and then we can talk with these wonderful people about animation as well as we go through it. So let's get started.
Oh man, it's gonna be exciting.
So first of all, you can see him walk there. Looks really cool. All that cool stuff. Sprinting looks great. Put the attack over there. So that looks pretty nice. So we're gonna do like a little emo here, right?
Yep.
So first of all, we're gonna do a free roaming emote. This. Death whistle.
Straight off the bat.
Just
Right.
carry it on you at all times.
Let me do it again so we can have a better view of it. There we go.
Amazing.
This is really, really cool. Honestly, this is super scary.
It sounds great too. I love it.
Yeah. All right, okay, so let's look at the rest of this hero's attacks because that's kind of interesting.
Yes.
So as I was mentioning, we kind of have an infinite chain, but it's a little bit different this time, right? Because normally when we have like something like Shaolin, you can do like light to heavy, light to heavy, light to heavy. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But then we went, how do we take this a step further, right? And so what we came up with is every single option that you typically have. So light, heavy, zone, and bash work everywhere. So I can do light, but I can do light into a bash. I can do light into heavy, into a zone, into a bash, into all sorts of crazy things.
Oh
right?
gosh.
So the rules for chaining for this hero is every time you do the same button, or so the same type of action twice in a row, right? So if you do light, light, heavy, heavy, bash, bash, zone, zone, you go into a finisher, that's where you stop. The finishers typically are like a little bit stronger, they have like better stuff, so that's kind of interesting. And you can alternate them constantly. And each option that you have has different options. Like they have different properties and where we can go. So it's kind of like pushing some of the stuff we have a little bit more to the extreme and going into that, right? And so what's also interesting is that we really built this hero to be every single light attack is using the spear, and every single heavy attack uses the club. When we zone, sometimes it uses the club, sometimes like you see the finisher uses both at the same time. That's kind of cool there. So I know this this caused not problems, but it's challenging for animation, right? That really have that's different because it's the first time we have a hero that has two really, really distinct weapons, like real weapons, not like a shield and whatever. We have some characters that have like some hero like Peacekeeper that has like a dagger and a sword, but they're kind of similar and they're not used in the same way. So what kind of challenges you guys face when we're working on this?
If I may, if in a way it kind of focused animation because it was like it was a very direct way to see like, okay, well, heavy's always going to be the club and light's always going to be the spear. So in a way it focused a lot of our animation work. We were able to immediately discern and immediately make clear the animations were going to be a light with the spear and all that. So that was good.
Another thing is that with the spear, we aim to have range, okay, with those pokes and things. And then with the club, we went more for the heaviness feeling, the body weight feeling, that power. And then if we talk about the chain, we went and took advantage of that inertia that the character was having, that momentum he was having. And we made a decision like, are we making him spin or not? So... yeah, like that, like you are showing it right now.
Yeah. So sometimes you're spinning, sometimes you're not. It's like
yes.
to make sure that
normally
feels good
with
there,
the
right?
club is when we spin because we have a lot of strength, a lot of energy going on, and then with the spear it's just we go for the range.
All right.
One of the big challenges I find we had for the openers and finishers was to everything chain together. So we had to really make sure that every blend was like perfect for that.
Yeah, the flow of the character was really important because we only had about 3 frames in order to make transitions between the one attack to the other one in chain. So to put all together with the endless possibilities, it was sort of a challenge.
Yeah,
but,
big challenge.
We wanted the player to have that feeling that he's never out of the chain.
That's cool. Yeah, because one of the things that like you're talking about like having 3 frames for chains and stuff like so if I can explain like in more gameplay terms so
yes of course
but it's essentially what we're talking about here is that we tried to make sure when we're designing this hero to have almost like a blender like quality, right? We want you to when you're facing an Ocelotl that you're scared and to have that sort of pressure and to make sure that you really felt that pressure. We made sure that the chain link timings were as short as possible. So often enough, when if you do a light into a heavy, you see it goes very, very, very fast into the next attack. You can delay them a little bit, of course, right, if you want, but you don't have to. And if you go really, really quick, you get that sense of pressure, of that constant aggression, and really feeling like you're in a blender, right? That's kind of what we're going for. So that's super, super interesting. But it does. That's like you were mentioning. It creates a lot of challenges in terms of, well, how do we make this look good? How do we make this feel good? So that's a definite big challenge. That's really cool. I'm happy you guys really pulled it off because it's a big thing. So that's great.
And I also think it's cool, like when you look back and you hear kind of the narrative aspects of it that Ian and Raph talked about a bit, with this this character and the story that was built for him. It really was like you made a very angry boy, right? Like he's very angry, right? And so you feel that a lot in his
There is
attacks,
something
right?
that I always say is that we have strong words here, strong feelings like fury or rage, whatever, brutal, vengeance. So he has a lot going on inside of him.
Yeah.
And our job is to translate emotions into motion.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
I like that. Tagline.
We had in our minds in every single attack, Jim and I, like Amelie, of course, she's not here. But we try to focus on that in order to make him strong. In the anticipation to build that energy, quick releases, and then during the recovery, like he gets again into balance. So,
really cool stuff. Awesome. So,
all right, so let's keep going a little bit into the hero's like basic kit, right? So, like I was saying, every single light, like the neutral lights are 500 ms, like we normally have. Chain lights are all 400 ms. They tag people when you dodge after you do a heavy or a bash or whatever. So, again, a lot of pressure there. Light finishers are 400 as well. So if I go light into light, that's 400. I don't think anybody can react to these things. Like we've done some tests with some pro players. Right. That's the thing.
We can. For sure.
Heavies, chain. So the chain heavies are 700 ms, really, really fast and with really quick chain link timings. Again, to keep up the pressure. Heavy finishers are unblockable in every single stance. Big swings there. I really put a lot of effort into the camera angles and
they are my favorite attacks.
It's one of my favorites as well.
Yeah, they look really, really cool, right?
Made it so it was very, very heavy on all fronts.
Yeah, they do feel heavy. Even though they're quick, you do feel that a lot of the heaviness. So it's really, really good. And then we have zone attacks, which are always armored. The opener one, like it gains armor a little bit later. But when you go into chains, you get armor at the first frame. They're a bit slower, but the idea there is like you're in a group fight, whatever, you typically want to use your zone attacks. So making them armor makes you harder to peel. That goes well. Heavy zone finishers as well. Like they switch sides too, so you're not super predictable. Again, you can use your armor to trade against dodge attacks against certain things, so that's great. Yeah. And then we have bashes, right? So we also have an opener bash, so from front dodge into bash. We go into this.
Nice.
One of the things that we'll see as we go towards this is that every single bash this hero has deals direct damage.
Okay.
Never has confirmed damage afterwards, although getting a 400 MS light afterwards is almost guaranteed. You know, there's still ways to get out of it.
Yeah.
So the neutral bash, pretty simple, 500 MS bash, up for front dodge. So that works quite well. Then we have the chain version that I'm going to go into here, which is slower. Deals the right damage, but is feintable, right? We've been doing a lot of feintable bashes, especially in this hero. It's super scary. We've had some players that tested it out a little bit with us, and they're like, yeah, this is really, really cool. Well. And last but not least, we have the bash finisher, which is 500 MS, deals quite a bit of damage. You have to make a read because you cannot dodge after this if I throw a light. So it's a lot, again, like a lot of that pressure and that build up there into going to what am I going to do, what's my opponent going to do, what is the Ocelotl going to do against me, and it's super scary. And with those bashes too, like we have like really unique animations here, like everything's super different. I can go into this one where you do a big pummel strike. The finisher has the kind of crust cut there. So what kind of inspiration you guys take for these types of things?
Oh, at first all the bashes were pummel strikes. I believe the opener was the right side, and then for the in chain we had the pummel strike from the spear. At a certain point, we're like, these are all pummel strikes. So JC had the great idea of making the scissor move, which I found really great. And it's a really vicious move. You kind of feel like Daniel was saying, the rage of the character through that move. Fantastic.
Yeah. Super cool. Yeah. So, all right. So outside of this, we have dodge attacks. They're all on lights. They don't have massive trajectories. Again, we have to have like some sometimes downsides to the hero, but also like it feels really natural to have quick dodge attacks with this. Front dodge light as well there. So there's a little jump here in a bit of distance. That's pretty cool. Works quite well. But there's one more little thing I think that we haven't done.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes, that's very true.
That's quite different with this hero. So one of the things that we really wanted to feel, because we have all of this, right? We have the feat set that we're also going to talk afterwards. But one of the core aspects is the hunting, the stalking, right? And so as we were developing the hero more and more and more, we're like, you know, we're kind of missing that aspect a little bit. So we ended up creating a new kind of stalker stance, prowl stance. You access it by holding down on the right stick, and you go into this, right? So when you are in this stance, there's a couple of things. First of all, you can't block. So it's really not meant to be like something defensive, even though like it's not super visible, but when you go into it, you get you do get a little bit of dodge range. Kind of like with Nobushi. It's the same timings as Nobushi, so you can dodge attacks with it. Yeah. So it works quite well. And then the other thing that's interesting here is that you actually walk faster when you are in this stance than when you're not. So an example, if I'm strafing to the right here, you see like the speed I'm going at. But when I'm in that prowl stance, I'm going much faster. Faster front, faster back, faster everything. So the idea here is that we really want people to be able to use this stance to kind of like be, you know, there's a group fight happening. I'm hunting my prey. What am I going to do? And you get there. So when you are in this stance, you have one single attack that you can perform with the heavy button, which is this. So when you perform it, you jump forward, leap by quite a bit. And if your attack connects, or you can use from really far, you get into a bit of a pin. The club gets embedded in the opponent, slice it off. So really, really good. This acts as a heavy, so you can do your heavy chains afterwards. It's a heavy opener, like you know what we have as heavy openers, and it's super effective. It's not the best tool in 1v1. I can warn people right away. It's not meant to be used as a 1v1 tool, but it's excellent at peeling. Right. So if you're again far in a group fight, you might be off screen. People don't really see you too much. You get into it, and then you see an opening. Boom! You go, you strike. works super well. It's not faintable or anything, but it's really, so you have to commit to it, but it feels really good.
This happened a lot in tests too, just so people know. You know, we were like testing it out. You'd be just, you know, playing a Dominion game, then suddenly this just Ocelotl comes flying in from off screen. You're like, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. But what's also cool here is that this requires a lot of work from animation. So you want to walk us through a little bit, like, what goes into making that sort of stance there?
Okay, first of all, the stance, like the character is a little bit low, we can say that, and he's not static in that stance. So, which means we had to go to mocap and record a whole navigation like that.
Yeah.
The mocap actors did an amazing job, so shout out. Like they did amazing.
Yeah.
And back and legs, I would say.
Yeah.
So
he's gonna be feeling it for sure.
So. Yeah,
I remember we shot it on I think on a Monday, and the Tuesday the guys came back in and they you saw they were hurting. It was obvious. They're very, very professionally trained stuntmen. They're amazing. They're really, really good people. They're doing an amazing job. But it's still very, very it's hard.
An amazing job there.
Was it tough to go and convince the mocap actors? Like, hey, so we just kind of need you to crouch for the next 2 hours.
A little bit more.
Just walk
and
everywhere.
Can we repeat this, please?
Do it again.
And
Crouch better. You know.
We can always modify it with our software, but it takes longer. So when we have really good data, it's everything. We can put everything together way faster.
Nice.
Yeah.
And for the tag, I would say that the challenge here as an animator, we always exaggerate poses, and it was the range that he's covering there. So the challenge was to keep it not cartoony, right?
Yeah.
To give the level of to make it realistic, and as much as it fits the For Honor universe.
Yeah. And so one thing that people that you haven't been at mocap, it's kind of interesting to kind of talk about. Whenever we actually do mocap, when we do navigation, we call navigation when you're moving around. We're asking the actors or stuntmen to really go and they have to walk, run in different directions, do figure eights, all sorts of stuff, so we can get every single movement, how the legs are placed, how that stuff works. So it's a lot of work, it's a lot of stuff, but it ends up looking amazing. So
yeah,
I think you're super hyped.
Yeah, you absolutely see it in the final results. The end product here is incredible.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. So we've looked at this. Let's look at executions right now. Right.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
Sprint attack. Well, I did a sprint attack before. I'm going to do it again.
Go ahead.
Do it again.
Yeah. Right. So that's pretty cool. I can do it, and it counts as an opener. I can walk in, go back into every finishes if I want. So all good stuff there. That works really well.
That's the only attack he flipped.
We tried doing that move earlier.
Yeah, we were trying
man, it was heavy.
It's rough.
I don't know how the actors did it.
Cool. Okay, so Jimmy, if you want to remove your infinite health.
Yes. I don't.
And arena settings. Yeah. You go to the first one.
Here.
No. Back to arena settings. Sorry.
This.
No.
You want to do
it? I think quick settings and then you go there.
Yep. There you go.
All right. Okay. So we're gonna look at executions, right? So I'm gonna
go. Really, just demonstrate the blender.
Yeah.
So execution number 1. We're a club. Jump to opponent. Bam.
Yeah. So good.
Get them off. Pretty brutal, looks pretty cool. Respawn. Okay, so let's do this again. We're gonna go through all 4 of them. So.
Just never stop pressing buttons. That's the goal. All right, then
this one. I love this one. It's so.
The Daniel special.
Right. So clearly, right now we're on stream, so we
cannot show
blood and stuff. We don't show the blood, but it's quite bloody.
When you see it in game, it's
it's something.
It's quite bloody. So again for the 3rd one. So a bit faster execution, right? Works quite well. And then finally, last but not least. There we go. So that's the 4th execution here.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah.
Fall right on the spear, right?
That's my personal
So
favorite.
that's what we did at mocap, right? We had one guy jump like that and fall into the spear and just
Yeah, for real. We lost an actor that day. It was really sad.
But I mean,
But we got the shot.
Yeah,
We got the
we
shot.
did, right? So
We
that's
got
good.
the shot.
All right, okay. So now we've gone through the entire fight kit. So let's prep quickly to go into showing what the feats are, because that's quite unique.
It's nuts, and that's again, it's incredible. I gotta say, just to go back to the work the team did, and because this was a big team effort to get all this animation work in. I know you two were like the lead animators on this, but we also had other members of the team working on this. So just big shout outs to everybody who really worked hard on the animations, the audio, the effects for all this. It's it's just so good. Like the work was incredible.
Everyone did their part, and it shows, man. GD side, animation side, sound, everything.
Yeah,
for GPP, like at some
yeah,
point
yeah,
with the
like
feeds, the UI,
so
like
we'll see through the feeds when we go through them, right? But the first feed in particular, like it was a massive joint effort from VFX people, code, game design, everything. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It was a complicated thing to do, but I think the results speak for themselves. It's really,
we're
really
gonna
cool.
see it.
Big shout outs here, like also to the game design team, like my team. With Noel and Costa, they're like two amazing game designers. They worked super hard on the hero. Like it's always a team effort, right? We always work all the way together. But they were in charge of the hero, like in making sure everything there was good. So
and y'all did amazing. So by the way, so big.
Really,
Noel Costa.
I do a heart, but I'm holding
amazing. That's fine. I'll do the hearts for you. It's good.
All right. Okay. So we can switch to there. Okay. So this is what's going on, right? So as you see, 4 feats. First 3 are passive. The last one is active. So we'll go for the first one because I think it's the crazier one, right? So Jimmy, if you wouldn't mind killing me, please.
By the way, Chad, if you're not sitting down, now's a good time. Sit down. If you're in a car, buckle up. If you can just find a seatbelt anywhere, just give it.
Just not execute me.
Right.
Okay. So now, oh no, I died. What's happening?
Oh no.
Oops.
Oh,
I
man.
respawn. So this is what the first feed does, right? So whenever you die and you're not executed, or you don't die from like traps or get ledged or whatever, you get back up in spirit form. You can run around the map, go anywhere you want, and respawn wherever you'd like, as long as you're not too close to enemies or allies, or in ladders. You can run around, you can go up ladders if you'd like. Let me just go here, right? You go up a ladder.
You're faster.
You're also faster, that's true. You're actually running faster, so there's a bit of animation there. I can go here. Oh, okay. It looks good here. Respawn here. Right? Backcapping. Super crazy, super, super dangerous. Really, really cool stuff. So the first feat really is about repositioning. We'll do it again just to make sure that there's a couple of more things to talk about, but essentially it's around the concept of life and death, especially for these warriors, is whenever you end up perishing and dying, you get back up and you can position yourself. So you can kill me again if you'd like.
I've never
just if you want.
If you want, otherwise you don't have to. But yeah. So another thing that's important to see here is that the feat always activates. There is no cooldown to it. So every time you die on the battlefield and you're not executed, like I said again, this always happens. When you get back up, your health is really low, and it slowly goes back up.
Yeah, you can see it
regenerating slowly over time. So we really want to do this for balancing purposes, so that we had some tests that we did, and we had versions where you were at full health when you got back up.
Oh, I remember those days.
Yeah. Right?
Remember those
started
days.
like at halfway and it goes up. You can see it's rather slow right now, and that's really on purpose, because we don't want you to be able to just, you die in front of somebody and you get right back up, full health. They're not healed up. You're just gonna destroy them. They go through the blender, surprise. So that's really cool. The other important thing here is that you see there's like respawn in how many seconds. You have a minute to choose to respawn. If you're too close to enemies, again, you can't respawn here. If the timer expires, you respawn back at your home point. So you really have to kind of respawn wherever you like there. And it's super good. So, right, so if whenever you get killed or whatever, you can backcap. You can look at the battlefield, see what's going on. Maybe spawn, you see a group fight, like, okay, I'm going to go help my ally. You go respawn a little bit out of it. Go into this. help out your opponent, help out your ally rather. So that it's pretty cool, right? There's a lot of good stuff there that works really well.
I think it's also important to mention there that even though you're seeing JC's perspective here and you get the cool silhouette as you're running around in that form, your opponents cannot see you.
Yeah, right. Like if you wanna, like you can do it again. Well, actually, I'll
please kill me.
It's a brutal stream today, guys.
Fun fact about this feat: we had a lot of realization ideas for the feat 1 revive animations. They turned out to be way too long, so it was very ethereal. The actors were moving around and being revived, but for the sake of gameplay, we had to cut a lot of those animations out.
So, yeah. So right now, Jimmy's somewhere. I have no idea where he is.
He's somewhere.
He's somewhere. I don't know where he is. Like, he might respawn in my face. He might respawn at my home point. He might respawn at my opponent's point. I have no idea. I do not know where he's going to respawn. And then I'm like, where is he? Where is he?
He's scared.
Oh, no, he's there. He's capping, right? So that's kind of like a big part of this feat that's super interesting there.
Oh, man.
It's very, very unique, very different. We've never even tried to mess with this.
Yeah.
I know our programmers were having a field day where we told them, yeah, we're going to start to look at, doing stuff when, and moving around when you're dead and see how that goes. They didn't like us. But in the end, they did an amazing job.
Yeah.
We worked together, so it was great. Okay, so let's go to the other 2 feats because we don't have infinite time here. So the second feat is kind of like Aztec Killer Deterrent, right? So that's
I like it. I
like to put it, right?
I think we should change the name.
Right? Yeah. So what it does is when you actually kill an Ocelotl, here. So you see on top of my head, I have a little marker, and I also have a buff and a debuff. The buff is for the 3rd feat, but the debuff is on me. So essentially, when you kill an Ocelotl, you get revealed on the map, and you get a defense debuff for, I think it's 15 seconds. So it's not really necessarily like a buff for your opponent that they're going to be able to see you, the one you killed specifically, but it's also to kind of like deter people from focusing on this hero too much. Right. Because if you end up killing an Ocelotl in a group fight, you're probably going to die afterwards. Right? You get a significant defense debuff. You got to be scared a little bit. So that's kind of interesting here. We really want to make sure that, like, again, the feats play with life and death and what happens when you kill an Ocelotl and what happens when you get killed as an Ocelotl.
Nice.
And so the next one, when I kill any hero, right here, I'm going to do here. So 3rd feat activates. So the 3rd feat is whenever you kill an enemy, execution, whatever, you gain a speed increase and an attack buff. So again, it's like really, really strong. You get into a group fight, you kill somebody, it's going to be easier to kill other people in that group fight.
Nice.
So again, with that life and death stuff, you manage to kill your prey, you get pumped up, you go, yeah, all right, cool, I'm going to be able to do more stuff, and you kill more people. So that's really, really good. Again, short cooldowns on those are passive. They pretty much trigger every single time you either die or you kill somebody. So that works really, really well.
Nice.
And then last but not least is feat 4. So for feat 4, we're trying to do something a little bit different here. Vanessa, when we started working on this hero, the legendary Vanessa, really wanted to go, you know what, we have like this big spear. I want to throw it and bring people back to me, right?
Sure, yeah.
So what do we do here? We throw the spear, get the opponent back to you, and then you get into a guard break. So Jimmy's going to perish, unfortunately, but it's okay.
Due to the other effect of that.
What happens is when you throw that spear, the cooldown also, we're on like super fast feet, so don't worry about it. The cooldown, this is not the actual
It's okay,
cooldown.
chat. It's okay.
Okay, right? So what ends up happening is that you throw the spear, when it connects, it deals a little bit of direct damage, a significant amount of bleed damage, pull an opponent towards you, and then you get into a guard break position, which means you can throw somebody, or you get another free heavy afterwards. But when I say throw somebody, you can kind of. Oh no, there's a ledge here. What's gonna
where
happen?
can you throw somebody?
You're gonna see when the
He's gonna die again.
Cool down.
Anticipation.
He's not gonna die before I throw him, I think. So
Okay.
let's do this. And then, oops, there's a ledge. Oops.
So close
there, right?
So close.
We missed
works. Trust me, it works. Not every single time, but it works. So you have to be careful. You have to be really close to the ledges. But that's the type of thing you can expect, right? So you can use it to do a lot of different things. If there's any obstacles between you and the target you're pulling, like once you've hit them, if you pull them towards you, they're gonna get stopped. So you can't just like pull somebody through allies or enemies or whatever. So you still have to be careful when you use it.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. It's a projectile. So again, in group fights, you're external. You throw it. pull your opponent towards you,
Yeah.
get a heavy. Your allies get a heavy off of them as well. All sorts of good stuff. So it's a super it's a very, very good fight, honestly.
And was that tough to do for y'all? Like kind of like you forcing them and dragging and like
Right,
Was that a little tough?
That feat wasn't an easy feat.
Right, yeah.
So we had a precedent before with other characters to do sort of a grappling thing. So we based ourselves of that for this feat, and we used a similar system with the graphs where we had first an animation for the grappling itself, then we needed a loop for the target to reach the opponent. Once that loop was done, we also needed another animation for the drawback, and after that we branched into the guard break, which was an addition we did by the end of this.
They got it.
There you go.
Sorry.
Yeah. So all these systems work together
It's
to make
more the
this
technical
movie.
side, I would say.
Yeah, this is a pretty technical side of
Yeah.
it. Animation-wise, it was relatively simple. It was more the technical side that was a challenge.
Yeah, because we have to like sync with VFX as well, have the rope,
That's
all
right.
that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
All that stuff is built through like VFX systems, so it's really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, you can just grab your opponent, get him over here, and then do something you want with
Yeah,
him.
get
So
it
that's
over
good.
here,
Yeah, it's just.
But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for this hero's movesets and feats.
Oh boy,
So,
that's a lot.
it's a lot.
That's a lot for the
It's a lot,
Ocelotl. It's a lot. Yeah, and I think just to kind of summarize there, if I can, sum up my key takeaways of don't kill one, don't get killed by one, and if you see one, just run because they're coming for you. Okay, the Ocelots are coming for you, and they will kill you. So.
Yeah.
It's good. They're terrifying. You made a terrifying hero. Noel, you made a terrifying
We
hero.
made a terrifying hero, yeah.
Oh my gosh, but they're so much fun. They're so much fun to play.
So
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So much fun. So yeah, so I mean, like honestly, big props to everybody involved.
Yeah.
Like especially the first feat involved a lot of people from a lot of different
work.
disciplines.
Oh yeah, a lot of work.
It's a lot more work than we typically do for a feat, especially a feat one. But like kudos to everybody, like the GPP team, like our programmers,
Yep.
game design team, animation team, VFX team, art team, everything. It was a disaster to make, but in the end, the result is completely amazing.
Put it up.
Super excited about it. So really, really good. And again, thanks to you guys. You did
Thank you.
an amazing job on the animations and stuff. Like it's spectacular. They look great. Like one of the things I really like just this, right? That top light finisher looks so cool.
Oh
with
yeah,
the way
it
that
was
you,
all
like,
you.
yeah.
It was all you.
No.
There's a
I'll
lot of
share the
really-
credit, you know.
Okay, we'll share it.
So there's a lot
Okay.
of really cool looking stuff there. So
Yeah.
like really, really amazing job. And so I don't know if you guys have any closing thoughts for the animation team here.
Thank you to my team for all the feedback. That's why we came up with this.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Support we got
something
from the
else.
animation team and the
Vanessa
TV
Amelie
side
also.
too.
Yeah.
Vanessa Amelie.
Yeah, you're the best.
There you
So
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all so much then for all the feedback and for sharing with us the process
Thank
and
you
all
for
that and
having
going
me.
over the gameplay. Thank you, JC, for the really extended deep dive into this. I hope that was super cool for all of you at home. So we, what do we got? July 27th, so next week. Just as a reminder, if you want to play all of this awesome stuff for yourself, next week, all right, the Ocelotl will be releasing live. You'll be able to pick it up for the real cold hard cash, but 2 weeks afterwards, available for Steal as well. So keep an eye out for next week. So thank you all again. Coming up next, we've got some patch notes to go over as well. So which JC's going to stick around with me about. Oh, you got the sunglasses on. Dan and the cooler Dan are ready to head out for the day. So cool. Thanks everybody again. So don't go nowhere. Stick around. We'll talk patch notes next. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for sticking around. We're going to go into some patch notes next with JC, who's still with us on the couch. But, just quickly before we dive into that, as we're transitioning here, we sometimes take a peek at the chat. And I think JC just wanted to say something a little extra.
So, one thing I want to try to make it a little bit clearer because it might not have been clear. So, thanks, chat, for pointing that out.
Yeah.
But essentially, the Ocelotl's first feat is every time you die, you get back into that form. You cannot choose to respawn at your spawn point, and the big trade-off when you're using it is that your respawn times will be longer.
Yeah.
Because as you get up, as you saw, the health starts really low. If you want to get back at full health, you have to wait like a very, very long time to really get back to full health. So yes, it's strong, but you cannot choose when that feat triggers. You can only choose when you respawn and where you respawn, but you don't get to choose, I'm going to use it this time or not using that time or whatever. So there is a definite trade-off. Yes, it's a feat one. Yes, it looks like it's insanely strong. And we will keep an eye on it for balancing, for sure. There's no way that we're going to, if things are obscenely strong, it's not going to fly.
Yeah.
But it's something that we're keeping an eye on regardless. But there's definite trade-offs. It's not just, I'm going to use it, I'm going to kill everybody. It's just, it's good. But so we'll see how things evolve.
Yeah.
We've already addressed a lot of feedback that we got internally and stuff, so we're going to go through that and get into that.
Yeah, I think just trust us when I say, we watch this stuff closely, and again, it's going to change some things, the way you think about how you play in different things, but there's a lot of balancing that goes into it too. So just you try it out for yourselves next week, you'll see. So all right. So let's dive into some patch notes because that was a very heavy segment too. So let's maybe bring it down, do something a little more chill.
Right.
So we got a few patch notes to talk about for next week.
So I just want to start this off first with saying that these are not super beefy patch notes. We've been extremely busy recently with the release of the hero.
Doing what? Oh, the hero, right?
The hero and a lot of other stuff. You know what else we're working on.
I know.
But so there's a lot of stuff going on. So these might not look like huge patch notes, but rest assured, we're still doing a lot of balancing. We're still doing a lot of stuff. I think we have a bit more in store for the next season, but for right now, it's not massive, but still stuff that we feel we need to address right now to make sure that things are good. But don't worry, we're still doing stuff. I don't want people to start thinking, they're gonna stop doing balancing. Not the case at all. Okay, so let's go. First up, we have, if this works, because it doesn't seem like it's working right now. There we go. Okay,
clicker.
So Jormungandr. So basically 2 changes for Jormungandr, but everything centers around the fact that Jotun Farewell and Hammerslam are a little bit overtuned in some situations. Initially, we were feeling that Jotun Farewell, which is the bash that you perform when you're in chains, we were comfortable with the fact that it chained on miss, specifically because it only chained into the chain zone.
Right.
And even though it's armored, you could always dodge attack and get into it and deal damage. So we're like, okay, it's okay. But then a lot of expectations from players were, and rightfully so, right? You're doing this move. When it does land, you get 30 damage, right? So the risk-reward proposition here was so heavily skewed into Yorm's favor that it kind of didn't really make a lot of sense. And so, it feels good when you're doing it, but it needed to be toned down a little bit so that we're like, okay, we're in a good position. We have, it's a lot more balanced. And we also felt that we're like, okay, well, it's in chains. It's not the easiest bash to access. It's not, but at the end of the day, looking at the data, looking at player feedback, where all that went, we decided to make a change. So for first, is Jotun Farewell no longer chains on miss, which means that if you correctly read that Jorm is going to do that move and you dodge, you get a guard break. Now, this might feel like a massive nerf, but let me tell you something.
Tell me.
If you're trying to do side dodge into guard break, you leave yourself vulnerable to feint into guard break from Jorm. So you still have to make that choice. It's still risky, and it's still riskier for the opponent, right? There's still a bit more risk for the opponents. But if there's a correct read, then they can actually get a guard break and deal 24 damage to you. So it's kind of like on average. So that's kind of like the idea here, right? So because it's feintable, because there's all these things going on, it's okay. And then before, because you could zone afterwards, you couldn't really ever do side dodge into guard break, unless you did a super crazy early dodge and it was really particular. So in this case, with this, it's more balanced. And on top of this, Hammer Slam now deals 26 damage, down from 30. So in this case, it's if Jorm gets the correct read, lands the bash, he gets 26 damage. If your opponent gets the correct read, they get either a dodge attack or potentially a guard break into generally 24. So the risk reward proposition here is a lot different. It's less skewed toward Yorm. Typically, we've been doing a lot of stuff where aggression is very, very, very heavily rewarded. And so this is a bit of a nerf in this case. Should feel a bit better to play against. We've seen a lot of comments, a lot of feedback about this, so we're hoping that this is going to help there quite a bit.
Right. So yeah, less skewed kind of feels like more balanced.
Yeah,
So
right.
it's-
Exactly.
It's
more
interesting.
balance.
Interesting. Okay.
Just need more balance. All right.
just a little
Okay. Next up, we have Scent. So we're aware. I'm just gonna start that there's a problem with tracking on Centurion when you do a light into a fully charged jab, and then you can sometimes like double dodge it or like all sorts of stuff. And if the answer was as simple as when somebody on the team, including me, clicking something and it worked, we would have done it. Unfortunately, it's a tricky proposition. The way the move is built is different from other chargeable bashes. And because of that, it's a lot trickier. We're going to require animation. We're going to require a lot of different things to really flesh it out properly. So it's taking a bit more time than we wanted to fix it. So that's... I just want to make sure that I get it clear for players.
Right,
It's
right.
not that we're not aware. It's not that we don't want to fix it. It's that it's more complex than we anticipated initially. We did a change before that helped, but it doesn't fix the entire problem. So that's where we're going at. But today on Scent, what we're doing is we gave uninterruptible stance on charge jab 100 ms earlier.
Nice.
Now you might be going, what does that change, right? Well, it does change something quite a bit, actually, which is Centurion, like other heroes, when you did a light attack into a charged jab, that's the case when you took here, for example, you could get lighted out of the charged jab, right? Because the armor, like the uninterruptible stance, kicked in at 200 ms. Now that it kicks in at 100, if you go light into fully charged jab, your opponent just cannot light you out of it ever. So they actually do have to respect what you're going to be doing a little bit better. It's still commit full. You still have to commit to the attack. You still have to get into it. But at least you're a bit safer when you do it, which is a big part of what we're doing here for Scent. It makes a lot of sense as we go towards and getting the rest of the heroes' issues in order. So that's like it's a bit of a quality of life, but it also makes a big difference because now it's a lot safer to throw out lights and go into jab afterwards.
Nice. So respect the Scent now. You like it.
Exactly.
All right.
And then last but not least, Nusha. So
it's my girl.
Right, it's your girl, right?
I love her so much.
So Nusha, we had we're I'm gonna say it out. We're gonna nerf caltrops.
Oh no.
So for a long time, Nusha was not super viable in Dominion.
Yeah.
Like in game modes where you can use feats. She's a very, very 1v1 centered hero. We've done some buffs to her so that like she has better trajectories on her heavies and stuff, so you can like defend yourself maybe a little bit more in group fights, hit people externally. That's great. But at the same time, once we got her traps fixed, all of a sudden she's way stronger in 1v1, right?
I have noticed.
And
yes.
it's an interesting thing because those traps are like the better player you're facing, the stronger they are. Because better players tend to make correct reactions to everything, and she's built to defeat correct reactions. So that's kind of like that was like a big part of how we built Nusha back in the day. So that works well. But because she works so much better, Caltrops, which was I'm not biased or anything, but I think it was by far the best feat in the game. It beats out Corruption even as a tier 1. Beats out Fire Flask, beats out like Spear Storm, like all sorts of crazy feats. This beat them. Partially, pretty much because the cooldown on it was extremely short. And the uptime was also extremely long, right? So 25 seconds uptime, 45 seconds cooldown, which meant that you had a downtime in between feat casts of 20 seconds.
Right.
Which means that Nusha could go into the lane and just drop Caltrops, destroy the entire lane, wait 20 seconds, drop and in those 20 seconds, more minions came, dropped Caltrops again, cleared out the whole lane again, right?
Listen,
she was a monster. But
I was kind of hoping you didn't notice my strategy, but now here we are.
That's how it goes.
Oh no!
But the problem is that when the character was not really picked, it still is a problem, right? There's no question that it wasn't a problem, but it wasn't as high on our priority list because the hero was underperforming herself. So we wanted to make sure that we buffed her up before we ended up nerfing some of the more like unhealthy parts of her kit. So with this, we've nerfed Caltrops significantly, but you'll see how it works. So basically, now her cooldown for counter is 90 seconds. So it's instead of 45, so it's doubled. We doubled the cooldown, and it's now active for 15 seconds instead of 25. You can still go into the lane and drop it. We haven't touched the damage. We haven't touched the radius. We haven't touched like any of those other parts of the feat. We really just worked on her cooldown and how long it's active for. So this way, you can still go use it like you were using it before. You just can't use it as often as you did before.
Okay. You're tough but fair.
I'm tough but
You're
fair.
tough
right?
but
That's,
fair. All right.
That's how it
see
goes.
this.
We need to like really make sure that this is more balanced.
Yeah.
It's been a comment we've been hearing from a lot of pro players
Right.
for a
Right.
long
It's true.
time.
It's true.
And I remember we have some discussions like ongoing with some players, and when we did the Nusha testing grounds with the improved traps, their number one worry was, oh my God, caltrops. Oh my God, caltrops. Oh my God, caltrops. Right? I kept getting messages from a bunch of people about this, and I get it. Right? We wanted to give her like at least one season, like one TU. To kind of get into the groove, but now that we're there, it's time to.
It was a beautiful TU.
Yeah, it was a beautiful TU. It had to come to an end. So that's pretty much it in terms of balancing for the patch notes, right? So as I said, it's not the biggest patch notes. There's still like significant impacts to what we're doing there, and we're gonna keep going and going, keep doing more patch notes, we can keep doing more balance and things. So that's gonna be good. We have more testing grounds coming, a lot of different.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And so speaking of testing grounds, right? So
good segue. I like it.
Right? Yeah. So we had our last testing grounds that ended a little bit ago. I don't remember.
A couple weeks ago. Yeah.
I was. Time is a blur right now.
It's busy. It's just busy.
So we were testing Lawbringer, the second iteration of Lawbringer, and bash speeds.
Right.
So I want to talk specifically about bash speeds because Lawbringer is another subject that we'll talk about like at a different time. But first, bash speeds specifically, I want to thank everybody for participating. Did an amazing job. We got a lot of data. We got some information from like some people in the community, like giving us like crazy Excel sheets with like reaction times from some amazing players. We have a good idea of what speeds bashes should be from front dodge, so that's great. However, we will be taking a little bit more time than what people might expect to push it to live, just because we need to make sure that of what the impacts of this are going to be, right? So the testing ground was there for us to be able to determine what are the correct speeds. When are we supposed to be doing these things? What timing is it basically unreactable for everyone? But then there's other impacts, right? There's impacts to potential impacts to ganking, to frame advantage, to a bunch of different things. So now that we know kind of what speeds are optimal. And it turns out it's pretty much the same for everybody, so that's great.
That's good.
We were really hoping, like we were really looking into like if there's different options, is there a different impact on a lot of these things? And the answer ends up being pretty much no. So while we do have the number, the knock-on effects that this has means that we have to investigate a bit further, go deeper into it, and go what happens on like dodge cancel characters, for example, that go into a front dodge bash. Is stuff going to be guaranteed? What's going to be happening there? So we want to take our time a little bit to really investigate. Go deeper into this. So it means it's going to take a little bit longer than everybody would have hoped. But I think it's in absolutely everyone's best interest to just wait a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so that we can release something that's going to be better for the entire community.
Sure.
And we can go good there.
Totally makes sense. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Nice.
And then
we had one more thing.
Yeah,
right?
one more thing, right?
Okay.
It's not a major one more. Like it's not that
but
one
it's
more
cool.
thing. Yeah, but it's super cool, right?
It's cool though. Yeah.
So we're also adding a new quality of life thing, a little option when you're finishing matches and you get a lot of loot. So I know Max has a little video. So you can now tag multiple items when you are in the screen and then dismantle them all at once.
Nice.
So again, really shortens all that thing. I'm happy because I'm not gonna have to go into my inventory and like just. You can do it like right away, right there. So it works really, really well. So kudos to like the UI team because that's like that's always worked for them, and they're always swamped. So that's great. So really good job there for code as well. So really amazing. So we're really happy. And then that's pretty much it for patch notes and little improvements here and there.
Awesome. Amazing. Well, great. Yeah, I mean, short and sweet, but again, some really good quality of life stuff coming in there. So again, big thanks to the UI team too for adding that feature. Again, like you said, anytime you don't have to go into like a bunch of other menus to do something.
Yeah,
it's always better.
It's always.
So that's great. We appreciate that. Well, amazing. Well, JC, thank you so much for coming on, sharing all this information about the Ocelotl, the upcoming patch. We have an amazing season ready next week, so that's awesome. Yeah, same here. So. So for everybody still watching too, we have an outro coming up soon. We're going to go over some fun things to look forward to. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, go.
And we're back.
Yes.
I hope you guys are as hype as we are for the new Ocelotl. I'm super here for it. But we
yeah.
yeah,
no,
please.
I'm sorry.
It's good to be back with you.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, Brian, for sure.
Real quick, I forgot something. It was Gabrielle's birthday. I forgot to say it. So
okay.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, sir.
Yeah. Get some birthdays in the chat. And
yeah.
We'll show them later. But yeah, reminder: the new hero comes out on the 27th. And that's for the cash money swag.
That's right.
And then 2 weeks later, available for 15K steel.
Mm-hmm.
Steel.
Cool. And we'll also have a free event pass, so just a reminder of that, the Hunt of the Ocelotl, which will be running from July 27th to August 17th. So again, those are free. You just play and earn awesome rewards for those. So just make sure you're logging on starting next week and play. Yeah, lots of fun stuff there. It's going to be great.
I love the realization on this hero.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could just take a moment, I just want to mention the camera. I saw some people talking in the art direction about like how good it looks. Because trust me, you could go in blindly and just randomly select stuff from the armors and the colors and the material, and it'll look amazing.
You can
incredible.
Absolutely Mad Lib the fashion.
Yeah,
and it all looks good. It all blends well.
Yeah.
So, Warmonger might finally have a rival in the fashion department.
We'll see. For fashion, we're counting on you for fashion. So there you go.
Yeah, looking at you, newbie. I think we talked about the event pass. So I think it's time to go into community spotlight.
Oh,
let's look at some videos.
Spotlight.
Let's look at some submissions.
It's good. I haven't seen these yet.
Yeah, we made sure Nolan didn't see these.
I like to go in blind on these. They're so much fun.
Yeah. All right, so first up, we've got Ad Mortem in Yeeticus. And you'll see why. I mean,
we got Lawbringer, so anytime he's on screen, I'm happy about it.
I always love it when this does that.
Oh, good lord.
And then I loved this variation on a popular meme. Just parry this, you filthy casual.
It's just, it's so good art.
I want a shoulder-mounted trebuchet. And then this is using the whole of your brain.
What?
That's right, new animation tech, and I did an instant replay.
That was awesome.
Get emoted. And then we always have that one teammate, right? So I was overjoyed to see it put into art.
Yeah, that was really good too.
And then it's the final brain cell. And there it is.
Oh, I love our community so much. That's amazing.
Yeah, so those are some of our top picks from the last month. If you want to have a chance at getting your content featured on the Den, put it on the Reddit and or Twitter or Instagram. being and tag us in it.
All the places.
Yeah. Because we look at all of them.
Yeah, it's great.
But yeah.
So-
We've got some more stuff coming up. We've
That's
got
retrofits, right? Because we talked about the Shadows of Hitakiri event coming back. So guess what? We're bringing back all the fan favorite content that we had during that last event. So it's going to be retrofit for all the heroes coming up. So we have the emote Shadows of the Hitakiri for 10k steel. You're also going to be able to loot the Secrets of Kaiden battle outfit. The Survivor of Kaiden ornament, which is awesome, and the Spirits of Kaiden mood effect. So all
which is a
really
great
cool.
one.
I know it's good. It's subtle, but like it goes with a lot of the things in the customization. So.
Oh yeah, I've seen some great like Aramusha cosplays that incorporate it, and it looks super good.
And of course, the Shinigami's Oath illustrious outfit is going to be retrofit and available for 20k steel. That's an amazing one too. I love the Shinigami effect behind the player. It's so good. So.
Yeah, big come at me, bro energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And then coming up, we've got a trio of Hero Fests planned. So we've got Peacekeeper, and again, just to recap, Hero Fests for those of you who may have forgotten, you get to try the hero for free. They're 33.3 repeating, of course, percent off. No, 30% off. I'm just kidding. It depends on. I think some of them are 33 actually. And then if you log in, you get 2 free symbols.
That's always good.
Bump up your symbols game. And then we've got Raider Legendary.
So good.
And last but not least, Magi.
It's a new guy.
Yeah.
Outlander Hero Fest. It's happening.
Yeah. I can't wait to see Magi's unique that comes with that. How you gonna slay?
I've seen it. It's cool. I
Which
won't
is great,
spoil it.
because just the other day I saw somebody saying Magi needs more executions. So there you go.
So to that one person, we heard you, I guess, and you're welcome. So there's that. Yeah.
Yep.
Same wavelength.
Yeah. And then we've got some content of the week.
Yes.
So we've got an execution, Chimera's Retribution.
Right, because it's Griffin's Hero Fest today, right?
Yeah.
That's why he gets.
Yeah. I'll choose to believe you on that.
Yeah. And then also starting next week with the launch of the season, July 27th, new illustrious outfit, Majestic Jungle, and there's nothing more majestic than that kitty cat. It's really cute. I want to pet it. So that'll be available for 20k still. And also a new execution, the Blow Dart Barrage.
So those of you in chat who are like, I saw a blow dart in the trailer. Yeah, we didn't forget about it.
3 darts is too much. All right, that's deep.
Dart your friends.
There you go.
And your enemies.
I'm so glad.
And
Glad
then
you changed that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh yeah. And then you may notice like a teaser behind me. But yeah, we've got a summer chair emote coming up. This will be 10k steel. So sun's out, fun's out. Get your free roam emote, chill. Or like motion for garçon to bring you a little umbrella drink. Soak up some rays. It's perfect for just in time for summer. So this will be here on August 3rd. And we may or may not be doing a thing with Larry. Larry might have... we might have gone to the beach with Larry again.
I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So keep an eye on the social medias for all of that. And then I believe there's more.
There is more, yes. But wait, there's more. We also have a new arcade quest going on. Down the Rabbit Hole, it's a weekly quest available for all Marching Fire owners, so you can play that starting today, and will be available through the week. And also this weekend, an event order, the Medic Challenge. At the end of the challenge, be the faction with the most allies revived. Also starting tomorrow. On Friday. No, tomorrow is Friday. I know what day it is.
Yeah.
Rehearsal day, the rest of this. I know what day it is, people. Don't worry.
Down the Rabbit Hole, a.k.a. opening Reddit.
This is... That's also, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So, so be out there, revive your friends, your allies, or even just perfect strangers. Just pick them up. I'm probably going to be one of them on the ground all the time. But that's okay.
Yeah, and don't forget to emote spam after.
Yeah, just really let them know that you saved them. So it's good.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
I believe that
was a lot.
What'd you say, Max?
Yeah.
Oh,
we got
Max is
confirmation that
we've got confirmation. That's it for the show. Don't forget to follow us right here on Twitch, because some of you aren't following. I don't know why, but it says it in the stats. And then also on social media, we are now at For Honor Game everywhere. We got rid of all the weird underscores and stuff in all our channels. So at For Honor Game everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, especially Instagram if you like it when we get saucy. and post a lot of memes or shit posts, like whatever you want to call them.
Same thing.
But yeah, and we will see you guys on the battlefield.
Here we go.
Take care.
Ocelotl.